Hey there, it's Teresa here, and welcome to another episode of Conversations from My Couch. Hi, I'm Teresa Youngkin. I'm a leadership coach and consultant, and you can find me here every Wednesday having a conversation from my couch about all things leadership. So, the month of December has been all about looking forward to 2022 and where we want to be as leaders. So, the first week in December, we talked about how do you see yourself as a leader? And we had an exercise where we wrote that down and had it for ourselves. And then last week we talked about how others see you. Again, it was another writing exercise because I truly believe when you write it down and there's neuroscience behind it, it tends to stick. So this week I want to talk about a golden thread. And I talked about this in my blog, and you can find it here on LinkedIn as well. Your golden thread is that one thing that you're born with, that's innate to you, that you carry around with you all the time, where if people know you, they always compliment you on it. And it's that thing that you're known for, that special golden thing that you're known for. So, for example, for me, I grew up in the military. And so I had to move every 2 to 3 years. So for me, change is not a fearful thing. It's actually very normal. And I hate to just say this, but those of you who know me, like part of my marriage contract is that we have to move every 2 years. Like it doesn't matter to me. We either move or we remodel just because I like the change. And so it's something that's just a part of me. I'm comfortable with it. And that's why I normally take on innovation projects because of the fact that those things change. They're a little bit uncertain, and it causes me to have to be a facilitator to jump in, and it's sink or swim for me. And I thrive in that sort of environment. So for me, that's my golden thread. And people are always like, oh my gosh, you do so many things. Like, aren't you ever afraid to do something? And yeah, I'm afraid to do things, but I also know that they always work out. And that's because it's just experience. It's part of my golden thread. So this LinkedIn Live is going to be about what's your golden thread. So let's talk about what lies underneath your success to this point. How have you gotten to where you are? What's that golden thread? And it's going to be uncovered as you answer these questions. Um, Number one, what were your favorite subject or classes at school? So, like, what did you bring to the class? If you say, let's say, think deeply about it. So, if you say gym, what was it about gym that you liked? Was it the teamwork? Was it the camaraderie? Was it the competition? Was it the winning? What was that deep down thing inside of you during school that really made you shine, and that area that made you feel so good, like you could conquer the world? Next, when have you felt most energized and what were you doing? What are the things that make you just light up and shine? And I talked about this last week when I said, ask somebody else, what is that? But sit down and sort of reflect on yourself. Like, when were the times that somebody said, oh my gosh, your face just lit up when you started talking about that? Or they said, like, oh my gosh, like, I didn't know that you could do that. Or you're the best at blah, 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 blah. That's part of your golden thread. Write that down. What have you created and brought into the world? Now, I want you to think back. I mean, I'm just not saying like, what have you just created at your job? I think about childhood. Like, what were the things that you were super good at that adults complimented you on? And then if it was a simple task like, oh my gosh, like you were such a great performer, or maybe it was the fact that you were super well read, you always had a book in your hand. And look how that carries over to today. Are you the person that does all the research? Is that where you thrive? Is that your golden thread? Just think about that. Next. What are your various achievements, big and small? And I say big and small just because of the fact that it's not always the big things. It's not always the promotions. It's not always where you get recognized. What are the small things that carry you through? Are you the person that everybody says, like, you smile at everybody, or everybody feels super comfortable around you, or even you're the best at providing feedback at something, or you really make things easy for me to understand? What are those achievements, big and small? And what are the personal traits that you give that credit to? Like I said, is it that you don't just jump into a conversation, but you like to sit back, listen to everything that's being said around the room, and then offer feedback? What an amazing quality. It's not always the loudest person in the room that makes the impact or is a leader. And lastly, um, what would not be like it is had you not had a part of it? And what value did you bring to that? For me, I can say it's serving on boards. I like to take the experience that I've had in different industries, bring them together, and then serve on boards. Mine's relationship building. I love to build relationships and connect people. What have you done that's like that? Like I said, are you that person that brings that one piece of like incredible insight to every meeting? Or maybe not every meeting, maybe it's just some meetings. I just want you to sit down and to really think deeply about it. Again, I want you to look at your volunteer activities as well as your work activities. Are you the person that's always heading up a charge to do fundraising in your organization? Look deep inside and see where this is. Again, I want you to write this down because writing these things down makes them real. And I would tell you, just as a mindset, when you can go back and reflect on the things that you've done in the past, it helps to bolster you when you're feeling not so great, or if you're feeling trepidatious about doing something new, or doing something that you're not comfortable with, stepping outside of your box. Taking the time to go back and to look through these accomplishments that you've done, looking at your golden thread, and knowing that you have that as an innate part of you will help you carry through to the next thing. So I encourage you, as you're thinking about 2022 as a leader, to reach out to me. Go to my website, teresayoungkin.com/contact, and book a 15-minute call with me. Because as we all know, when you plan, you generally will succeed at what you do because you've sat down and you thought about it. Take 15 minutes and talk to me about some of these questions that you've had. If you're having trouble deciding how to pull that golden thread for yourself, I would absolutely love to sit down and have a chat with you about that as you look to 2022 and becoming the leader that you want to be and the leader that your team needs you to be. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me here on LinkedIn Live. It's my first one. Again, trying something new, going using StreamYard. Amazeballs. It worked out well, and I'm very excited to have you guys here. You can find me on all social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, and on Instagram. I will be here next week on the 22nd and again on the 29th. And as we close out 2021, looking forward to 2022 to becoming the leader that you want to be. All right, guys, I will catch you next week. Catch you on the flip side. Peace.